love the energy here. I just gotta say, y'all are just like so welcoming and beautiful. Your energy is so bright. And I just want to say thank you for receiving me, welcoming me, and having me. Thank you. All right. So I have a good story I want to share with you guys today. You ready for a good story?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
You love a good story? I do too. I do too, especially if there's a couple jokes in there. So we ready for that? We can handle that? Good, good, good. So my name is Jules. Let me start with that. Nice to meet you, everybody.
Nice to meet you.
And if you heard Miss Gloria, she said, Jules De Jesús Fritz. So did you catch that Jesus is my middle name? Did you see that? Of Jesus, to be exact, right? Amazing, right? I just, it was actually my maiden name, and I had to move it to my middle name because who's going to leave Jesus out? Not this girl, not this girl. So today, being here with you today reminds me of my first talk at Unity of Savannah, to be exact. And it was actually my first talk ever. And Reverend Dale, my beloved Reverend Dale Worley said, "Go ahead, girl. God's going to tell you what to say." And I was like, okay. And thank goodness he was right. God gave me the words. And so today I open myself up as a vessel for the words to come through me today to share with you. So as I was on the stage and talking and giving my first ever message, the message that I was delivering was about how you are not your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. That's a pretty big idea. And I love the affirmation for this month that you are open to divine ideas. So I'm going to throw out some divine ideas today, all right? So the idea that you are not your thoughts, right? So what I did is I introduced my congregation to their inner roommate. So that inner self-talk, right? We all have it. You may or may not be aware of it, but it's always going on, right? So I delivered this message. And after I delivered this message, I was lit up, y'all. I was fired up. I was actually firing on all cylinders. I was like, woo, what was that? I got to do that again. That was awesome. And then that really just had me so lit up that I then wanted to just continue diving deeper into the world of spiritual wellness. Well, this was a huge change for me because I was actually a celebrity makeup artist at the time. So I was trying to figure out how to go from talking about eyeshadow into spirituality and kind of swimming in the wrong pool at this point, right? But listen, that's a great story for another day. So within this talk, I started realizing, man, I love this. I really want to share these different ideas. And so I just went on this journey and I continued learning more about spiritual wellness. And so I came across this quote. My big brother actually sent it to me. My big brother Jose sent me this beautiful quote from Pema Chodron that says, "You are the sky. Everything else is just the weather." And that resonated deeply with me. It resonated so deeply with me because on the tough days, we can forget who we are. I know I'm not alone in that, right?
Right.
When it gets tough, we can easily forget who we are. When we're riding high, we know who we are. But when it gets tough, we can forget. And that little quote, I hung on to it many times. That little quote reminded me, like, I'm the sky. I am the sky. I'm not the weather. I'm the sky. And so learning these new things, I wanted to share this with my children. And now at the time of the story, I have a 6-year-old and twin 1-year-olds. I did not stutter. Twins, y'all, twins. Ooh, I get weary just thinking about that time. I could take a nap just for me back then. So in this time frame, I am trying to teach them what to do with big feelings. Because even down from the 1-year-olds up to the 6-year-olds, up to the parents, we all have big feelings. What do we do with these big feelings? So many times we're not taught what to do with them, right? We're just taught to keep them quiet, keep them to ourselves, right? And that's not the way we want to deal with them. So I started to think of a way that I could share this principle that you are not your feelings to my kids. And so I thought, oh, the sky. I'll use the visual of the sky. And so we were outside and I said, you see that sky? That's you. You are that sky. You see how clear, how bright, how beautiful it is? That's you. And my son was like, oh, wow, that's awesome. And I said, now see the clouds? Those are your feelings. They are not you. See those clouds? They go by. Sometimes weather even comes by. The sun rises, the sun sets. The moon rises, the moon sets. The sky remains the same. You are the sky. He's like, oh, I like this, I like this. And he was picking up what I was putting down. I was like, all right, let's keep going. So let's give some names to these clouds that are passing. What do you see? What do you feel? And he said, oh, well, that's happy cloud. That's happy cloud. Oh, yeah, happy. Oh, that's sad cloud. Oh, yeah, sad cloud. Very important cloud. We need sad cloud. What's that one? Oh, scared cloud. Ooh, scared cloud. Sometimes I feel scared cloud, like this morning, when I was coming here. Scared cloud. Gotta let it float. And grumpy cloud. Don't we all know about grumpy cloud? Goodness gracious, grumpy cloud. Grumpy cloud, grumpy cloud, grumpy cloud. Important cloud, though. Dang, grumpy cloud, right? So we're coming up with all these names. And after a while, we keep talking about the story of that you are the sky and the clouds are the feelings. And so the story starts growing and developing and kind of taking on a life of its own. And he's like, but mama, what if the sky forgets it's the sky? What happens then? And I was like, I don't know, bud. What do you think's going to happen? Because the best is when you give your kids a chance to answer the questions that they're asking themselves. What do you think would happen? And he was like, what if a little birdie has to come in and whisper and remind the sky that it's the sky? And I was like, oh yeah, we definitely need a little birdie that comes in and whispers truth to us. Yeah, we do. So the story keeps going, it keeps going. And before we know it, it's like, what if sky is greeting the clouds and, hey, happy cloud, good day to you. And then what if when sad cloud comes by, sky wants to hold the cloud and make sad cloud feel better? What would happen? And what if sky held grumpy cloud? I mean, the story just kept growing. And he's like, what if sky then got grumpy? And I was like, oh, so what happens when you hold on to your feelings? You start to believe that they're you, right? So this idea just kept growing. And then we knew eventually we were going to write it down because we just kept talking about it all the time. And the idea of it was just so beautiful that one morning, the day after his 7th birthday, he flew into my room so excited. Mama, it's time. And I was like, what time is it? What time? And he says, it's time to write our story. It's time to write our book. And I was like, okay, awesome. Let me get the coffee going. And, we had talked about you maybe making some little toys to go with the story. You wanted work on that? I was trying to buy myself some time. So he comes back excited. I'm done. I was like, okay, here we go. Divine inspiration caught a hold of him. Divine inspiration took him in the flow, and he was ready. And I went with him. And so we wrote that story. Now, on average, it takes a year to write a kid's book. On average, it took us 1 hour. All I had to do was type, and he was flowing with that story. And all I had to do was capture it. So as we're going, we realized, man, this really came out awesome. And we were excited to share it with our friends, with our family. And we had this prayer, we had this knowing that we were going to help kids know what to do with their big feelings, right? Because it was helping us, it was helping our family. What I didn't expect was all the grown-ups that also needed our story. What I didn't expect was for a 60-year-old woman to tell me During my medical scans, and I was scared, I remembered that I read this story to my granddaughter, and it helped remind me what to do, to let go of scared cloud. What I didn't expect was for when we were going through the pharmacy drive-through for the cashier to say, roll down, is Julian in the car? That's my son. Is Julian? Yeah, Julian's right here. Hey, Julian, I needed your story when I was a kid, and I'm so happy to have it now. And he was like, awesome, Mom, this is awesome. And I'm like, see what you're doing? See what we did? See how important this was? I didn't expect that. I didn't expect for all the grown-ups to need to know that they are not their feelings. And so I throw this to you now. How does this divine idea sit with you today? That you are not your feelings. How are you feeling about that? So I'd like to invite you to just a small visualization, maybe a tiny little meditation, okay? Just close your eyes. If you don't feel comfortable, that's okay. Just close your eyes. Let's rest into this moment and just take a nice deep breath. Now with this idea in mind that you are the sky, let's just take a moment to check in. As you take a nice deep breath and release, ask yourself, are you holding on to a cloud right now? Is anything blocking you from feeling bright and clear? Because once we have a name for how we feel, we can tame it. We take our power back. So just rest in this moment, thinking about what you may be feeling. Let's take another nice deep breath. And let's just visualize going into our inner altar, carrying this cloud, carrying this block, whatever it is, and giving it over as an offering to God right now. Whatever you're feeling, just giving it over. And as we do this, we say, here, you take it. Here, you take it. And as we do this, we are making space for what really serves us. When we're doing this, we're lightening our load. We're clearing our sky. We are bringing our awareness to the presence of love that is always, always holding us. One last deep breath. All right. Come back to me. Open your eyes when you're ready. How'd that feel? Feels good to just rest for a moment. Let things go.
The last 3 days, it has been so windy here. On that first day I went out, there was not a cloud in the sky. I mean, when I walked out in the yard, I turned around and looked up in the sky, and I thought to myself, this is divine.
Wow.
I mean, I always thought so many puffy, cumulus clouds, that was the place for angels to dance around and jump from here to there. But I have now seen another day with no clouds
No
at a certain time of the day. And it's like, where did they go? Did the Lord take them up? Did he put them down? Did they go to the other side of the world? I mean, it was just total blue sky, not a single cloud.
So as you're saying that, what's coming through for me is that those deep breaths that we take in and we release out, that's the wind blowing, releasing those clouds. So when we see the big, bright clear sky now, we can remember that that's us. That's our state of being. That's our true wholeness, right? Just allowing ourselves. But we can also be okay with the clouds because we can't control the weather. Our awareness of who we are is where our power is. So our biggest takeaway for today, the divine idea I want you to hold in mind, is that the reason we have to keep this consciousness with us, that we are not our feelings, that we are the sky and not the clouds, is because when we do this, we can allow ourselves to have that connection to source without anything blocking it. This is when we can have our divine power. This is where we can be in alignment with the truth that we know, because now we're living it. And when we do this, we are firing on all cylinders, aren't we? Because now we are empowered. Now we are the open vessels that we're being called to be. And so when we're able to do this, we can have this unshakable peace, this ability to have this stillness, this knowing within us as we walk through the chaos of life, right? We can have that peace knowing that all is well, because all is well. So what I want to remind you is that you are not your feelings, because you are the light of the world. And always remember that. So thank you. I want to invite my son Julian up to say a word for you. Julian, come on up and say hello to the congregation. They're very sweet, honey. Let me just tell you. Just give a round of applause to Julian. Come on up. There you go. So here's your book. So here we go, guys. It came into the world as a real book, so I thought it'd be a nice opportunity for you to meet the author and the illustrator of this. Do you want to say anything?
Yes. So, when I was 7 years old, I had this idea to create this book about how you are not your feelings, and to teach kids that they are not their feelings either. So, one morning, I came into my mom's room and I told her, we need to write this book. And so we got right to work illustrating, writing the story, and doing all the layouts and stuff. And then here it is.
Yay! Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for having us. And it's been an honor to share this space with you. It's an honor to be welcomed into the church, not only me, but with my family. Thank you so much. It has been an honor, and the light in me sees and loves the light in you. Thank you. Amen.